So good morning, everybody, and good to see you all. And some new faces who couldn't make it yesterday, but today it's good to meet. Um, Guys, we're going to talk about the strategic impact of the data center and edge computing, on meeting the future digital demand in this beautiful region. And this morning when I woke up, a bit too early, 6:42, somebody called me. Can you imagine? Anyway, and it was a beautiful. So after 1 o'clock, so at lunch, we will have sun on the terrace. So not too warm, so we can still eat outside, right? That's good. Without further ado, let's move into this, and I'm so happy and proud. First of all, you audience to be here. Thank you for that, and second of all, for my subject matter experts sitting next to me because I can talk, but these are in this case, the gentleman who knows everything about the industry, and we're more than happy to listen to them and to hear from them. So I'll give them a quick minute to introduce themselves, and then we'll go into two presentations, one from Rui, one from Emmanuel, and then we'll go just talk. This is my living room, so we're just gonna and my office. So I owe you. Watch it. And if you have any questions, I mean, we're gonna do this very interactive. Please raise your arm and hand, and we'll immediately come to you for your question. All right? Shall we move on? Okay. So, George, over to you. Quick one.
Well, I think I've presented myself yesterday. Jorge Santos, and leading the international wholesale unit for Mail.
Okay, thank you and welcome.
I am Arnaud. I'm based in Paris, but thank you for having me today. This is a pleasure. I'm from Templus. I've been in the industry for 16 years, but now I'm very excited to join the Templus venture, and we are now European. That's why I think I'm very excited again to be in front of you, talk about the new platform across the region, and we're also excited to enter into the Lisbon area. So I know some faces. We've been working together. I then hand over to Carlos.
Okay, thank you so much and welcome. Carlos.
So a huge welcome to Templus and to Portugal. And a pleasure to be on stage with you. Always a pleasure to be with you, my friend. And thanks to Care Community for 50 years. It's amazing. So Carlos Paulino, I'm in the data center business for 26 years now. Started one of the first neutral data centers in Portugal, and now as managing director of Equinix, and also collaborating with Portugal DC as vice president. And always a pleasure to talk about data centers.
And thank you for being here. And since 5 years you were there. You were one of the initiatives together with George as well. Fantastic. Rui, quick one.
Rui Franco, head of REN Telecom. We are part of the REN Energy Group, and we are the providers of the largest dark fiber backbone in Portugal. We also have business in data centers, and I've been in wholesale for all my life, a few decades, let's put it this way. And very glad to be here talking about data centers and the impact they have on particularly connectivity. Also part of the board of Portugal DC, which also brings us more interesting here. And yeah, I hope I can help in this discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Manuel.
So Emmanuel Becker, I'm the CEO of Mediterra. So Mediterra, we have an ambition in deploying a South European colocation data center platform. Obviously, we are super interested in Portugal market, which is one of the markets we want to deploy. We are not yet present in Portugal. This is why we are here to see what we can do together. And personally, I'm super proud about seeing what you did, Portugal DC, together since the beginning, and the market has a lot of acceleration. So did you act in making the acceleration? I'm sure of this, my friend. You did this together with Portugal DC people, obviously, but you did a very good job, and I'm very proud to see how Portugal market is accelerating and attracting so many people actually in looking to this market. Thank you.
No, but thank you. And that's why Emmanuel is next to his, of course, subject matter expertise. But also, we're in the Mediterranean here, right? Sort of, right? So one big family, and thank you for for being here as well, to give, let's say, a different view of it than just the Portuguese guys, right? It's always nice. All right. We have some presentations, right? So, Emmanuel, if I may ask you, please, to start, and then after that, if you have any questions, then we will come to that. All right?
I wasn't thinking I was taking some. I'm kidding you. I'm kidding.
You want the mic? That mic? Does it help you?
Maybe I will. I will. So I will sing with you. Okay. So we have only, I said to Rick, we have only 55 slides, but I cut it off a little bit. No, we will go quick. So let's go to the next one. What do we want to speak about today is not only about what we are doing as Mediterranean. Yeah, this one. Okay. You're right. Okay. So one thing which is very interesting to see is that geopolitics are having more and more impact on our lives, but not only on our life, obviously in our job and in our industry. And so all of this team, you will have a copy of this slide and you will have access to all of this information. So we will distribute it, and obviously your friends, we will give you access to this. But what I want to say in this information is any impact which is happening actually from geopolitics, which have impact on energy or which impact on over-regulation, have a big impact in our digital industry. Why? Because digital industry is linked to anything which is happening. So it's not only because we are using energy to transform it in digital that it has a huge impact on us. It's each time there is an impact on energy price, each time there is an impact on a new regulation, each time there is an impact on a new decision from someone or any managers, let's say, or leaders in the world, it have a huge impact in our industry. And so we will see on the first impact on all of this, and you see I put this Portugal DC funded, which has been done during 23, and this had a good impact to the industry. So we have some positive impact and we have some negative impact. For example, when we have the COVID, it has a lot of negative impact, but a positive impact in our industry too, because we had a big acceleration in having new needs as digital needs. If you are seeing for any cyber attack linked to some wars, or some wars having some impact on energy, it has huge impact in our industry due to the fact that we were obliged to rethink about our industry and to review not only our way of deploying our activities, but in our way in acting. For example, 10 years ago, I don't know one data center which was saying, my number one priority is to find energy. My number one priority is to be super efficient in my energy. Yes, we were looking at this, but not as much as we are looking at it now. And so one point is, it's coming. This is one of the biggest impacts that we are seeing actually, which is energy price. And look at this, something which is super interesting, seeing that Spain and Portugal, which are look like the same curve, this is due to obviously that's the things that you shrink some years together. It's not exactly the same curve, but very near. Between Spain and Portugal, the difference of price, I'm much more interested in seeing the difference of price for this market, Iberian market, toward overall market like France and Italy. So in Italy, we have a medal, which is we are always paying the highest price for energy. But despite this, Italian market is one of the fastest growing market in Europe, actually. So energy price, without a doubt that we have some big impact in our industry because energy have big impact in us because we need to take care of it and it has impact in our final customers. It's not handbraking our industry. It is just changing the shape in how we are looking at it and how we are modifying our strategy, how we are modifying our technology, how we are modifying our ability to deploy. So despite the fact that in Iberia, there is a huge advantage in some years on energy price, it didn't stop any other market. France and Italy didn't stop completely during 2022, but we saw a big acceleration in Iberian market. And so it has an impact, but not a full impact. So I want to debunk a first myth, which is energy price is directly linked to growth in digital market. It has an impact, yes, but not as such as the curve is showing. Because if I'm following the curve, in 2022, I should have no investment done in France. It was one of the biggest investments done in France digital history. In 2022, we should have stopped any investment in Italy. It was the year of the biggest investment done, so the starting curve on investment in Italian market. And so even if there is big impact on energy, you know what we are doing all together is we are bringing back this impact to final customers. But at the end of the day, who is paying? It's you and me as private person, not a professional person. This is how it's coming to the market. So my first thing is, yes, there is some impact from energy. Yes, we need to take care of this, but it will not stop our ability to deploy or new investment in the market. So first thing. Second one is seeing to the curve. I'm very happy to see that there is some decreasing everywhere on despite the last event which are coming. So we are not seeing till March, which was a crazy month on geopolitical, but there is some big impact again in March. And guess what? Do you really feel that there will be big impact in decreasing investment in our market due to March craziness on energy linked to craziness on geopolitics? I would like to see by 2 months, let's speak about this by 2 months, and then we will see. But my guess is it will not have huge impact on investment because we are investing on 20 to 30 years length time. A data center, it's an investment which needs to last for 20 to 30 years. And so, yes, it has some impact. We are looking at it and we are taking care of it, but it's not unbreaking the business. Second point, so this is our main challenges we are seeing, all of us. So energy costs, we spoke about it, energy access, we have regulation. So regulation is fastly evolving, much more. So we have much more regulation in the last 12 months than we had in the last 5 years. Altogether, in any country in Europe you are looking for, more regulation in the last 12 months than the last 5 years. Why so? Because NTAs spoke a lot with politicians, and then we raise up the sleeping dogs, and then they raise up some regulation. No, NTAs unbreaks this crazy regulation coming, or even had a huge impact in supporting the industry in avoiding that crazy regulation was coming, and willing to have some big impact in our investment capabilities. So indeed, we are becoming super visible, not only because digital needs are increasing. It's because we are becoming visible because we are investing so many money. We are investing so much in any countries. We are having so much impact in industry that we are becoming visible. And as we are becoming visible, there is more and more regulation. It's easy. And so this regulation, according to me, it's just a starting point. It will become more and more complex. As any industry which is becoming visible, it will become more and more complex. So be prepared. It will be maybe the first point very soon. For me, it's number one point. It's regulation. It's not energy. And the last one is territorial integration. We are not so much speaking about this, but actually, a lot of the industry investment is focused in few cities in Europe. So if we are looking at 27 countries for a European community, actually 27 countries are focused, or 80 to 85% of investment done in these 27 countries are linked to 7 to 10 main cities. Do we really think that 7 to 10 main cities is sufficient to cover future digital needs in what we are having actually in Europe? I don't think so. I think that actually we are starting this new era in deploying more digital capabilities in other territory. And so as it was in the past, remember the flap D countries, or let's speak about the flap D, it's a little bit apart. Flap countries was serving 27 countries, if we are speaking only about Europe, only from 4 cities. So we were serving 380 million people from only 4 cities. It's not reality. Now we are serving 380 million people from 10 cities, actually. It's still not reality. So territorial integration, it's not only our ability to be able to integrate our own data center inside territories, it's our ability to integrate digital deployment where digital need to be near to, not only near to needs, but to bring more resiliency on the territory coverage at European level. Let's go. I go too fast. This is a map I love because we are always showing Europe as itself and not showing where the main parts of the traffic will come one day. And personally, I'm in love with Med area. It's not only because I love the sea, but because I really think that this is becoming the center of connectivity. Why? Because we are always speaking about North American countries bringing capabilities for digital. We are speaking about Asia Pacific bringing capabilities for digital industry for us in Europe. We are speaking about ourselves, European countries between ourselves to speak. Guys, what you are seeing in this map, it's 3.5 billion people. In these 3.5 billion people, we are less than 400 million people in Europe. Do you really think that we will need deployment for digital only for 400 million people outside of 4 billion people, which is in this map? My feeling is a big acceleration will come from other countries, abroad countries around us, which will be not so much North America or Asia traffic coming to us, even with activities coming or geopolitical action coming from Middle East, which will make some change in the balance between exchange data from Far East to Europe. I am seeing this growing population, and we spoke a lot about this yesterday in different speech about growing population in digital growing needs, willing to be more and more connected with Europe. And so we can become first digital hub in serving this population, but we can even support them in growing their own digital industry. And we will become these flap cities in service to all of this world. And this is personally my own vision. Why? I'm really thinking that all of these South European countries will grow drastically because our market will not be so much European market. It will be much more serving these countries from Europe because we are more digital leaders and providers in Europe than they will be. But one day they will have more than us. Submarine cable in this. So submarine cable, it's very easy. We are opening new routes. We are opening new doors. We are opening new capabilities. We are seeing this as export capabilities. I am thinking even about import capabilities. As I said just before, I am really trusting that some of these countries we saw before will be able to bring some new capabilities to our own market. And so don't be so arrogant in thinking we will serve these countries. I'm much more thinking one day we will be happy to receive services from other countries. Last one, because Eric will kill me if I'm too long. The shift toward Southern Europe has already started, not only because we are exchanging between our countries, but it started because we are seeing raising needs. And my first slide speaking about geopolitical impact is accelerating it actually. And so unless we are, obviously all of us, we are unhappy in seeing craziness around us in what's happening in the world, this is having much more huge impacts such energy price. I am seeing that big movement about where do I need to put my digital? How can I manage my industry, my country, my public administration, my population needs will have impact in us in being able to serve more than our own little area in our geographical area. And so this is why you will have access to this. Actually, this is a curve which has been designed as growth only 12 months ago. This curve have been done 12 months ago. I would like to see this renewal of this curve, which will be done by a couple of months again. And then we will see if the big growth will not come from much more Southern Europe, which is my expectation, than over Western Europe or North countries. And in this is why I'm feeling that we can bring more resilient system from our South European countries than it can be done from flat countries. And flap cities, sorry, not flat countries, because I'm feeling that even if the flaps, there is a big movement started in secondary cities in these 5 countries. And this is why in our map, we decided to start working in whatever which is linked to the sea. And obviously, we are present in Rome, we are present in some other cities, but we decided to make a big acceleration in investment linked to wet to dry. That means whatever which bring us connectivity to abroad countries. And we are super interested. Obviously, we invested in Palermo and Barcelona, and we are super interested in Lisbon. And not only, I think there is some very interesting place in Lisbon, and Lisbon is already a super important door for Europe, and will become more and more than what you know since now. That's all, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? A quick one for Emmanuel. Yes, we have a question. Please. We will get you a microphone quickly. Et voilà.
Hello, my name is Paul Lopez. I'm international business consultant for Greenwald, and we are a renewable energy company in more than 20 countries in Europe. So the question, and because my background is real estate, is you talked about energy, you talked about integration, and you talked about regulation.
Yeah.
All these 3 things happen as well in the logistic and residential area. So energy is needed for all this, and as well for you and for the data centers and for all the equipments that are around that. Why not starting to bring all these ecosystems a bit more closer together to find the solutions?
I don't want to be in front of you.
No.
So
Go ahead.
it's a very good point, and it's something in which we are personally working a lot in this. Why? Because what we are seeing in energy markets, the real point is when we are saying we have a lack of energy, we are missing energy, we have difficulties to have access to energy. In some cities, this is true, because I don't know any electrical market which is working in which you can put any needs of new energy needs in one city and then expecting from the TSO or DSOs to be able to deliver it. I don't know any industry which can do it. Imagine if we want to say, okay, guys, we want to deploy new train activities, but every train will come in Madrid and not outside of Madrid. It's not working. So if you want to make one airport for the full country, this airport, like Carlos loved to use the airport analogy for data centers, and I love this. One airport which will be in Madrid, and then whatever you want to go to Burgos, you come to Madrid. You want to go to Valencia, you come to Madrid. You want to go to Sevilla, you come to Madrid. It's not working. So where is renewable energy done in our countries? In Spain, in whatever country, in Spain, in France, in Italy, in Portugal, in whatever country. It's not in one city. So we are creating new renewable energy everywhere in the country, and we are actually consuming it for our industry, but mainly for population. The biggest population density in Portugal, it's Lisbon. The biggest population density in Spain, it's Madrid. It's Milan, it's Paris. So big energy needs as people are in one city, and big energy needs as digital, it's one city. So it's not working. Instead, what we are saying is, let's use energy when it's produced, so in region, and then you don't have this issue because I don't have to produce energy, transport it, and then consume it, and maybe redeliver it. Imagine it's all of these data centers. All of us, we are speaking about heat recovery, okay? We want to release it to someone, district heating. I'm hearing about that. I'm personally saying this is utopic. Why? If all of the data centers of Lisbon are starting to deliver it for district heating, in all your houses in wintertime, you will be at 60 degrees, more or less. Because we have so much energy to release. First of all, we don't have district heating systems installed in cities. There's 1% of European cities, mainly in the Nordic countries, which are pre-installed for district heating. So it's not working. So if regulation is asking, you need to do, as Germany said, you need to deploy district heating with data center industry. I'm not in charge of district heating, so I'm okay to plug to someone, but someone needs to come and to use my energy. So coming back to your point is, energy is present in the country. We have a lot of energy in any of our countries, but energy using concentration is always in one place. which is the biggest place with population. For digital industry, it's the same thing. So it's time now, if we don't want to have energy risk, we need to delocalize energy needs. And for this, you will not delocalize population, you can't. We can try, but it's complex. So it's much more easier to delocalize digital energy needs. And this is what we think we need to do. I don't want to be the only one to reply.
Finally. No, but thank you so much. And thank you very much for your question. So, without further ado, Roy, over to you.
Bom dia a todos. Morning.
One day.
So thanks for the Southern Europe perspective, Emmanuel. Okay, it's it. Okay, so first I want to make a statement and to bring your attention to the fact that the digital infrastructure is in fact an ecosystem which is built up of not only data centers, but of course submarine cables and terrestrial networks. This is a single ecosystem, and we have been looking at this in different ways. So submarine cables used to connect continents and cities, they nowadays connect data centers, to be quite honest. Data centers are like the heart of the system where data is stored, processed, and terrestrial networks is what makes everything else works. So this is what terrestrial networks, I would say, is what unlocks the true value of data centers and submarine cables. Sorry, apologies. So it's important to understand this as a single ecosystem, and we have to align investments and planning in all of these three parts of the ecosystem. So starting with submarine cables, Emmanuel just showed us the part of Southern Europe. I'm focusing here more on Portugal and give you an update on what is the current status. Portugal has always been a gateway for the Atlantic. But this is becoming even more and more true. We now have more than 20 active and planned submarine cables. We connect 60 countries and 5 continents. This is pretty much unique. And you see here the most recent ones to Africa in 2024, the largest submarine cable in the world connecting to Africa, Asia, and of course, Europe. The Equiano back in 2023, connecting Portugal to Africa, promoted by Google, to Africa promoted by Meta. And the LR Link, a very important system in 2021, connecting Europe and Portugal to South America, to Brazil, with a few branches to some African countries like Cape Verde or Mauritania. So this is adding up to the legacy systems that were already existing, and it makes really an impressive connectivity for Portugal. And we have some newly announced, and this is public information, international systems. Nuvem by Google coming up at the end of this year, connecting Portugal to the United States. Nuvem is also Google is also developing the Sol system, connecting states to the north of Spain, so like a mesh network. Medusa, which will be landing in Portugal in 2027, and will connect Portugal to the Mediterranean. And the Pisces system, which is foreseen for the second quarter of 2028, which will connect Ireland, Portugal, France, and Spain. So this will add up a lot. And we also have the existing domestic systems like the Continente Açores Madeira, which connects the mainland to the Azores and Madeira. Status for the submarine connectivity, which is a very important part of the ecosystem, of course. And as you can see, this allows us to connect Portugal, of course, to Europe, but also to North America, South America, and Africa. So making Portugal a true frontal to the Atlantic connections. Okay. So in terms of data centers, as I mentioned, and we are 3 members of Portugal DC in this panel. Portugal's DC has just made its market outlook at the end of last year, and we have this market outlook foresees a tremendous growth in data centers from 1.5 from the existing data center capacity to 1.5 gigawatts in around 5 years. This is quite impressive, but this is, I would say, already outdated. We have to review it, and we know there are things in the pipeline which are pretty much significant. I will give you some kind of glimpse on that in a few moments. Okay, so what we have right now is the Start Campus project. This is very important project. It will go up to 1.2 gigawatts before 2030, and this makes the most of the growth that is announced upstairs. In the I mentioned before. And then we have the Equinix. Carlos can tell us more about this, but it's just they just inaugurated Lisbon 2 with 4.5 megawatts and growing till 2027, and List 3 is already planned, as we know. Atlas Edge inaugurated in October, first stage of 3 stages with 5.1 megawatts, and they plan to go to 30 megawatts, so already quite significant. Volteco is also deploying a new data center in the south of Lisbon with 15 megawatts. Merlin is deploying in the north of Lisbon a significant data center which will go up to 228 megawatts in a campus with 5 data centers, and they will start at the end of 27 with around 80 megawatts. So this will make big changes. And Digital Realty, which has just announced a new point of presence, a new data center in Lisbon with 2.4, and it's, I think, already public. They already said that they will have a second data center with between 4 to 8 megawatts. So this is the existing and publicly known pipeline for data centers. In the same study of the Portugal Data Center Association, we have identified that the industry will represent 13 billion in capex until 2030, by 2031, sorry. And this will have an impact of creating 9,400 jobs. So we are becoming, like Emmanuel was saying, we are becoming very visible, very important, and this will add up 3.7 billion to the Portuguese GDP. So the industry is really very important. On top of this, I would like just to add that Banco Português de Fomento is leading the Portuguese consortium in a joint bid with Spain to host one of the 5 European Union AI gigafactories. Let's hope we both succeed with this Iberian candidacy. And just to comment that Portugal, and this process is ongoing regarding grid connection to the electric grid. We have just created the concept of national high demand zone to manage the very high demand we have for grid connectivity requests. We had something like 26 gigawatts. This is, we all knew this was impossible to attend. We all knew this was very speculative, but we had to create a process to filter these very speculative requests. Just to give you an idea, the peak consumption in Portugal was reached last February, and it's 10 gigawatts. So this process, which is already ongoing, allowed us to filter because the interested parties had to pay a guarantee fee to filter from 26 gigawatts to 5.6 in a total of 29 firm requests. So this is what I mean when I say that our market outlook is outdated, okay? We have 5.6 firm requests for connection, and this adds to a similar number, something like 5 to 6 gigawatts of grid connection requests, which were already granted and are not yet connected. So we are talking about doubling the power consumption in Portugal. I think it's a very significant perspective. And this process, the high demand zone process that we are managing, I think will make Portugal one of Europe's most competitive locations because it gives us a lot of certainty, and it will allow my colleagues from Rene Elétrica to do the due planning of the grid. And what they say is that, yes, we can manage grid connection. Okay, energy is another thing I will comment ahead. Okay, so there are challenges, of course. Before going to the challenges, just to give you a glimpse on terrestrial networks on our part. So we provide the largest and most stable neutral backbone in Portugal. So around 8,000, actually 8,400 kilometers of dark fiber in the electrical and gas grid. So these are critical infrastructures, very stable networks. We have 8 cross-border connections with Spain, already in operation for a number of years, where we partnership with seamless Spanish providers. We access 2 submarine cable stations, more than 200 points of access to these grids. And we are, of course, investing in expanding and interconnecting these grids in the face of the growth we see. We are also present in the data center business, but just, let's say, enterprise data centers, kind of small nowadays, we could say, data centers, with two data centers, a total of 4 megawatts, data centers which are partially powered by renewable solar energy. And these are Tier 3 Uptime Institute certified data centers. So the data center market has these advantages, as I usually say, which is you have a lot of positions where you can position yourself, and we are positioning the B2B enterprise market. Okay, so about the challenges, and to complement what Emmanuel was saying, what we see is the following. First of all, just to comment that, and I think it's important here, that last Monday, the Portuguese government just published the National Data Center Plan. This is a set of guidelines. It's publicly available, and it's very important, I think, to help us in address the challenges I will comment. Okay, so the Data Center Plan has 4 axes. One on energy and infrastructure. Another one on public demand. So for the state to be able to align its public demand for digital infrastructure requirements. This is more work inside the government. The energy part is already addressed partially by the high demand zone process I mentioned. Although this is about grid access, it's not about access to energy production. That is another thing. It matches a little bit with what you were saying. We have to decentralize energy production. There's a lot to be done there, I think. The other axe of the plan is, of course, one of the concerns you also mentioned, regulations and permitting. So the plan foresees, and it's the intention of the government, we were told at Portugal DC, to streamline the licensing and permitting process. This is very important. And also the plan foresees that the government makes it specific for data centers. They assume the importance of data centers business, and they will make it specific, and they have already nominated the Portuguese Foreign Investment Agency, AICEP, to be the one-stop shopping for this process. So it's really very important. And the last one, which is one of the things you also mentioned, it's very important, it's territory and local communities integration. This is really very important to align all these initiatives with the local communities and the academia. This is something I think in the data center industry, we are taking care of that at Portugal Data Center Association, but it's something we have to take care really very, very seriously, not necessarily with district heating, but there are other ways to do things. Okay, so the challenges we see is power and grid access constraint. Like I said, this is already addressed, and I'm very optimistic that we will overcome this in Portugal for the grid access. The energy part, there will be other ways to address it also. Then the part of permitting and licensing. We are not just talking about municipalities. We are also talking about government agencies like environmental agency and so on. So this is really very important. Again, the plan is addressing this. The plan needs to be further detailed. This is just a set of guidelines. But one of the things the plan foresees is the establishment, and this is big news, of designated areas for digital infrastructure, which will be pre-licensed. So this, I think, will make it, it's really very important. And the one-stop shopping I mentioned for the digital, for the Foreign Investment Agency. The other thing we have to tackle as challenges in data centers, of course, is energy efficiency and all the sustainability regulations. We have an avalanche of regulation from the European Union. Regulation is good, but when it's too much, it's not so good. So we have to actually, the European Union made this avalanche of regulations, and now they are making the so-called omnibus to make it easier. So it's kind of crazy thing. Well, we have to address this. We have the European Efficiency Directive already in force, and this is already applicable to data centers above 500 kilowatts. Okay, this is something we have to comply with. And of course, the topic of national and European sovereignty, which is becoming more and more important nowadays. And again, here the plan is also addressing these in one of the axes I mentioned, where it is stressed that the government itself will align its requirements for digital infrastructure and cloud services. And last but not least, and I want to stress this point as a closing point, that the so-called, what I say, the network connectivity bottleneck. This is something we are already seeing in the United States. So as the data centers move from tier 1 locations to tier 2 locations, the impact on network connectivity is very strong because sometimes the network is not ready for these very high demands. So it's very important to take care of these. The plan can take care of these on the energy and infrastructure X, but this is something I think we have to stress there, because like we used to say, a data center without connectivity is just a big refrigerator, and we don't want that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for Rui? You were so clear. Well, okay, let's move on, guys, because looking at the time, do we have a question in the back, Nadia? Of course.
Thank you, Rui. Regarding the demand, we just heard, I believe 3 weeks ago, the Secretary for Digitalization stating that recently there was a public consultation regarding the demand for power. Grid connection in Portugal. And we heard that although there was this big expectation that Portugal had a high demand for grid connect, this was not the case, considering the companies that effectively came forward. And because one of the drivers for this grid connect would be data centers. You presented the number in your presentation, and my question is this number realistic? Realistic, considering what we heard about this statement 3 weeks ago?
I must say I'm not aware of that statement from the Secretary of Digitalization. He joined us at the Data Center Summit in Portugal, DC, and we haven't heard that. But the figures I mentioned are, first of all, public figures, and they were published by the government, not by my sister company, REN, because we are not allowed to do that. So these are official numbers. And so the numbers I recall again is 5.6 gigawatts. And this is massively for data centers. And we are talking about 29 projects. And this is massively for connection to REN, not to the area the distribution system operator. Okay, so this is very, very firm. These companies have paid guarantees, cautions. Of course, some of them may still drop, but this is very interesting because what we had before was 26 gigawatts of nothing. It was not firm. We didn't know. It was purely speculative. Okay, and this was choking the system. REN, for instance, could not reply to this, could not do any planning because my colleagues had no idea whether this was firm or not. And now it's firm. The process is still ongoing. Maybe I won't go into details, but it should end in like 3 to 4 months. Okay, because they have to understand For instance, I mentioned there is grid connection that was already attributed in the past, which is not being used. So one of the things they have to check, and they are just finishing that part, is to check whether or not these parties will use that capacity. And knowing that, they have to mix and match these things in geographical terms, of course, but also in the timeline, okay? Because the timeline is not the same for all projects, so it's a planning exercise. But what I hear from my colleagues is that this is something manageable. This is something we can manage. We can work it out. There is also the possibility that the process foresees to make auctions for grid access. We don't know yet whether we will come to that, but all the tools are in the process to manage things. So I think the process will go smoothly. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
And thank you, Nadia, for your question. Did he convince you or not? For now, yes. For tomorrow, but thank you for your question. Fantastic. So, listening to you guys, you know everything about assessing the market and looking forward. Now I want to go to my left actually, because and before I go to Carlos, Jorge, how can you guys work together in a better way? Because and that's not only on a national way, but also the international. So let's first look, you know, the total Iberia Peninsula, if I may call it like this, but also to France and the Met. What would be, let's say, the way to approach that? What is needed, and what can we accomplish with that actually? So 55 questions.
Yeah.
Only for you.
Well, I think at the national level, where we are at right now is far better and far more collaborative than what we used to have like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, probably. And one thing that shows just what I'm saying is the presence on the Portugal DC board of different competitors, different partners, different customer supplier relationship. Okay.
Contributor.
And you can see Carlos here and Rui there.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Mel,
for that. I'm sorry for that.
Mel as well. All of us, we work on the same, more or less on the same space, but we can work together and we know where are the boundaries of collaboration versus competition. And competition will always come, and that is a good thing. So at the national level, I would say that we are far better. More to say on national level, the way we've been promoting the Portuguese digital hub is more or less almost as a collaboration as well, because the way we present it, it's not just about REN or just about Mel or just about what Equinix is doing in Portugal. It's more of what is happening in the country, and then, of course, what each of us can help to do it. And we can see that the way the hub has developed itself. Now we are not just talking about, we are not just promoting, saying, let's make a buzz, let's create the need to be in Lisbon. Now you don't create the need. There is the need to be in Lisbon, there is the need to be in Portugal, there is the opportunity to take. So now we are just handling what is happening. So the newcomers, how we are going to interconnect, how we are going to be present on their data centers, how we will make the subsea cables connected to it. And so looking at an international level, I think that at the wholesale level, we have been collaborating for a long time. Same thing, partners, competitors, etc. But I think what the European Union finally brought to the table, and I say finally because it seems
They
like
finally woke up, right?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was about to say. So this is bringing everyone closer. So projects are finally, you start to see projects finally being driven by European companies, by new companies that were companies that were smaller, and now they understand that there is a need for sovereignty, there is investment to be put from the European Union into this new project. And I think this brings the regional collaboration. And for example, I think one thing between Portugal and Spain is the same. We are seeing much more collaboration than what we used to see in the past. Still, a lot of steps to be taken. Finally, I think that the collaboration with Africa will continue. We've discussed this yesterday. Emmanuel also made a point on that. For example, the north of Africa is almost 100% dependent on Europe. It's not the same on sub-Saharan Africa, namely because of Eastern Africa and their connectivity now to Middle East, part of Asia as well. The new connections that connect Africa directly to Brazil, but still 80% of the total connectivity comes to Europe. So I think there's not much that needs to be made. The collaboration will continue, and this new investment will continue to happen on both sides. Finally, just to say that I think one thing that is lacking is our bridge to South America. And this is where I really don't get how we became so apart. What you see from South America is their focus on South America itself, plus facing north. And the language, the culture, the type of companies, they are the same on both sides of the
So
Atlantic.
are you guys looking in the mirror then? Are you looking in the mirror?
Yes,
question yourself.
yeah. We are doing this work right now to understand how come we have lost this proximity.
Because we have Ella-Link going,
And
right?
but yeah, Ella-Link is a subsea cable that is one subsea cable that has 4 fiber pairs in it, and you compare it with the number of subsea cables connecting North America to Europe, and come on,
That's the old
comparable.
legacy, I know.
Yeah, it's not comparable, but to have one single system connecting and probably not yet at full usage, it does translate to what I think we need to promote in terms of collaboration, for sure.
Okay.
And this is for us to also take care of geopolitics. So probably instead of being so supported on North America, we need to connect each other.
Well, let's see. I mean, you know, with the EU, with the majority of the South American countries, you know, they have now this economic thing, which they, you know, which will go. Let's see if that can be, let's say, a catalyst for, you know, that more business come. And because I don't have to tell you how many people live in South America, right? So, guys, wake up. Quick one from you. Yeah, Sam. Thank you.
Let me help here a little bit, George, on this conversation. We must see that there is a shift in terms of the looking of the architectural of the connectivity. In the past or in the near present still, we still look at vertical ways in terms of connectivity. And that's how enterprises are organized itself, okay? And we saw this need for a shift when we launched SACs, okay? When we launched SACs from Angola to South America, because most of the big companies didn't understand the concept of east to west or south to south. And now they are doing this. And why they are doing this? Because of this new surge of AI. And that's the kind of key point here. And the companies in Brazil, I do not disagree. I support your idea. They are waking up, okay? We know that the idea of connecting sourcing that could be in data centers like the ones you have makes totally sense. We have done that in Brazil, for example, in Fortaleza, making Fortaleza a hub to receive content from the US rather than going to São Paulo. So most US companies are doing the opposite, are getting the Brazilian feed in Fortaleza. and most of the companies in São Paulo have bridged to Fortaleza to get US feed in Fortaleza. That's why Fortaleza is an hub. And the same will become sooner to Lisbon. This gravity of data centers will make the operators and Brazilian operators to look at sourcing already here without getting into London, without getting into Paris, without getting into Marseille. And so this will be even more, the shift will be even more visible when the AI started to not to be remote and start to be more hedged. Okay.
Thank you, Sam, for your contribution. I know. Please. So, you have anything to add? How can we work together better to get faster in a target time to market?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And the way I think we see things at Templus is to I think see the digital corridor. I think you mentioned the data center, telco, and also terrestrial as a one thing. I think we have to work together to make it a one digital corridor to support the customer need across the region and to provide, I think, consistency, security, but also sustainability and sovereignty. Everything I think we do is around this kind of the four pillars. But a few years back, it was all about location. Everyone was talking about location, to your point, Emmanuel. Now it's about latency. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Is it better? Yes. Now it's about latency and data gravity. I think the use case, to your point, is very different. And we need also to align to and think about the customer. What do they need? And some of the use case need to be in one location. Some of them need to be, so it's very fragmented. And that's where I think the operators can provide a better solution to the customer because the customer are also evolved. They are much more mature and they understand what exactly they need. So we can help them with a partner, with the ecosystem. So creating the ecosystem, and that's what I think Lisbon is now, a mini ecosystem with all the subsea. It's not mini in a term of size. I think it's
Be nice now. Be nice.
No, but in a term of a very something to point the catalyst of everything we like, I think is, and that's why we believe in Lisbon, and that's why we're entering into that market, and we want to contribute, make Lisbon a very digital hub, thinking about the corridor again to move toward the continental Europe.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Carlos, you heard all these gentlemen, right?
There
What
we go.
they're saying. Yeah. So how is Equinix contributing to it? And how can we make this even a better place? I mean, George said in the last 5 years, and we were here with Carry Community the last 5 years, every year, and we saw, and the progress and the commitment you guys put into it. You are really an example to the world, and trust me, we with Carry Community are around the world, and I know what's going out there, and I see it. But the speed and the commitment and the devotion you here in Lisbon, in Portugal, you put in there is amazing. But it was needed. And don't sit still. You need to move on, and even in a faster pace. And it's so important that everybody gets there. And and I don't have to tell you this, you know already. But Carlos, you saw it from very close by, better than anybody else. Or than me for sure. But what is more needed? What else do we need? And what will you with Equinix contribute to it?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So Equinix and our operation in the country for 26 years. So we have been all the waves. We have been serving during all the moments of demand. We see there are lots of changes happening, no doubt there. And for instance, what we saw this acceleration on the last 5 years on the demand and the number of players in the country, it means that we are doing it well and that we are taking the right moves. Equinix, of course, is participating all over the world and in the different geographies, and that also gives us quite a powerful insight of what makes Portugal special. Because being inside a multinational present in most of the locations in Europe, we see what are the variables that really allow me to bring money to invest in Portugal and not in any other geography in Europe. And it's no doubt the idea of the ecosystem that we have assembled in Lisbon. That is a distinctive mark. of course, on top of that, like Rui was saying, this process of really cleaning up the power and the access to power. Probably, I see Portugal as an example for the entire region, because all the countries are really struggling with the topics of grid access, and we have made it in a very clever way. So, no doubt, a very powerful, distinctive mark to attract even more. There is, I was super proud because Emmanuel put there on the presentation the creation of Portugal Data Centers.
I saw the glistening in your eyes.
My eyes just shine. It really was impressive, and we can really state like two eras, like the BA. It's before the association and after the association. No doubt that we are making quite a mark and quite a difference on bringing all the stakeholders together, on having that common vision and that and sensible, bringing all the sensibility to the government in order to really make these moves, like the what we just saw this Monday with the plan for data centers. Really, it shows that we really care and that we are really focusing on developing that capacity. It's impressive, the number of new players, and like I said, welcome to Templus. I hope that you enter the market also quite soon.
And let's wait.
And the truth is that level of offer would bring Portugal to operate in every segment. What's ahead? Or what are we not doing yet, in my point of view? So we already made this document, and we have those directives that show us the way ahead. But somehow we are treating all data centers like it was all the same, And I do believe that we really need to amplify measures to any segment that we want to serve. So the panel is about edge. So you need edge, and you need really to be close to where that is produced and where that is consumed. So you need for that type of data centers to be in the country to really bring cloud regions to Portugal, because we are all discussing about the idea of taking really the opportunity of AI. But to be completely honest, Portugal is still trying to catch the wave on cloud. So we need to make that move first. If we don't have the data here, we will not have the algorithms here. So we really need to comply on all fronts in order to be successful, in order to be a different location from any others competing with us. So this particular plan of being able to establish all type of measures that can help on the developing of a strong offer on the edge side of data centers, plus the capacity of having large projects deploying somewhere not so much in the centers of the cities, we will make Portugal able to show the world that we can serve all type of demand. And the ecosystem is really that, is the diverse of capacity that we can bring to the market.
You're a bit late on that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
to be honest, you're a little bit late on this one. So, move your butt. Can I say this? You need, come on, guys.
Yeah, but
you can do it.
Let me just double down on what Carlos
Yeah,
is
please.
saying about the segment, data center segment. I think it's key because we are not just developing mega large data centers for AI. We need every type of data center to serve every type of segment. We have been focusing, we have had Equinix focusing during a lot of time on the co-location for interconnectivity, trying to bring some content into the country. Now more players are appearing, and that is good. But I totally agree with you. Cloud, we are still a long way to achieve that. And it's also important. It is as important, although the data centers are smaller and the power density is smaller, but it is as important as all the other. And we are far from that. And we are looking into the neo clouds as well. So looking forward to take that one.
And accelerating, to your point, okay? So we are accelerating, no doubt there, last 5 years. And like I said, the NTA is a major source and driver of change, no doubt. Being Portugal TC, being the observatory, being APDC. So all the NTAs working together and really making the right environment to foster growth. That is absolutely mandatory. And of course, a big word of appreciation for carrier community, who are also a drive of change. So bringing all these people together and discussing the topic immediately bring the spotlight to Portugal. So it's something that we need also to promote and to give more visibility. I do believe that the second aspect that we are not there yet is on really bring Portugal to the level.
The start is good.
The spotlight.
The start is good, but guys, it's the start. Now we need to fill in, and Emmanuel, from your point of view, and I know we need to move on a little bit because otherwise Aurelia's kicking me, and because we have 3 other sessions coming up. To bridge, I mean, Samuel was talking about, the north-south and the south-south, but maybe also, left-right. So bridging it, to the Mediterranean, from your point of view. But what's the one thing that you say, okay, this is what we need to focus on?
Indeed, I'm super interested in what you just said, Carlos. We spoke about corridors. Arno spoke about this. We about connectivity. But what I'm seeing actually, there is a bad mentality we are having in together. It's not any of us; it's each of us together. We are always feeling that Portugal is feeding Madrid. I totally agree with that. Actually, each time we are speaking about we need to have better routes to go to Madrid, and we are always thinking about what is the best route to go to Madrid. Personally, my feeling on my hopes is we need to deploy 2 new big routes, which are actually any routes coming from Africa, North Africa, West Africa, even South America. It's already on its way, going on very good. The best way in coming to Europe from all of these countries, West African coast, even part of Maghreb, on the South America, it's Portugal. So we don't have to speak about this. Second point is the best way to go from all of these routes to Europe, it's through Madrid, actually. So where do we need to focus all together is first, I am feeling that there is 2 new routes which need to be deployed. One, Portugal to northwest route. Why? Because there is Bilbao or Santander with some new cables coming. There is Bordeaux, and then you're going to Paris, and you're avoiding Madrid. It's not because we want to avoid Madrid. It's because there is a lot of needs between flap countries and these countries, meaning West African coast, part of Maghreb, and South America. Second, if you're going connected to the northwest route, so we'll be able to grab some traffic which is coming from North America. North America traffic will continue to grow. But why is this route coming to Bilbao, Santander, and not being able to feed Portugal? This is a nonsense. It needs to feed Portugal too. It needs not to feed again Madrid. It needs to go to feed Portugal. So northwest route is a super important one to be deployed. How can we do this? It's bringing not only digital providers, as said by Carlos, we need to have more digital providers. Actually, in our mindset, we think that it's okay. Cloud region, if we are in Spain, can feed my country, which is Portugal. It's not true. How can we do this? It's being aggressive, attracting these digital service providers incoming in this country to start serving other countries, including Spain, from Portugal. On the northwest route will be a very good one. Second one, I'm super interested in, is the southwest route. Why southwest route? Because there are some actors like Medusa and some others which want to deploy on the Maghreb. So there is a kind of southwest route which is being deployed on North Africa. I'm even thinking about a southwest route coming to serve some other countries, and again, maybe coming to Madrid, maybe avoiding Madrid again in another southwest route to grow in other regions which will be big consumers of digital. You spoke about this, Jorge. You said that there is a lot of needs actually on no local presence. Who will be the best one in serving this Maghreb country? Do you feel it is Valencia or Barcelona? It's too far. So the very first landing point, it's Portugal. So if you want to serve Maghreb, it will not be Italy. We are too far. We will be able to serve something around Eastern countries or Middle East. but not Maghreb. Maghreb, it's Portugal. So I'm really trusting in northwest route, southwest route, in which we will not fit too much Madrid. And I'm really thinking about being aggressive with digital service providers deploying in Portugal, being able to start digital hub in serving other regions, including Spain. And in this, I am trusting Portugal being able to become a digital hub serving Spain.
So you want to fight Marseille?
Marseille, I'm a French guy, obviously, and I am the first one in saying, I was the first guy in deploying something in Genoa for Equinix saying, we will kill Marseille. We will never kill Marseille.
No.
But we will make differentiation with Marseille. I'm saying Portugal is a differentiator in Iberia and in West African traffic and in South American traffic to Madrid.
I just wanted to throw a curveball. Okay. Anyway, quickly, guys, we need to close this session. Takeaway, a quick one for the audience.
Well, I fully agree with Emmanuel, and these new routes are the ones that really will change. And there is already, and I don't know if people saw that, a wind of change. So Nuvem would be the first cable really to bring data directly from North America, first to Portugal and then to Europe, meaning that Portugal can start for the first time really serving inside Europe and going on the directions that you were mentioning, really serving all these new demand that we are seeing more on the South Atlantic and also entering the Mediterranean. So like we said 5 years ago, and I will repeat it again, the opportunity is absolutely incredible. And we are aware of where can we bring and create value. Portugal is in this crossroad of the digital highways, and it's in all our hands to really being able to capture this opportunity and to deploy a better digital world.
There you go. Beautiful words. Arno, takeaway for the audience?
Takeaway for me is, I think we've talked about proximity. This is, I think, at the heart of everything we do in Lisbon, in all the places where we want to serve the customer. I think we also have to think about the global. So I think being local and global, I think it's a need. And when you think about we talk about the cloud provider, 50% of the traffic through the cable are coming from the hyperscaler. So they are coming to Lisbon, and that's where we have a great opportunity, I agree with you, to serve, and with a very segmented approach. And I think that's why we believe in the market in a very distributed way.
Merci. George?
Two things. One, Carlos, it's not the first cable. Okay. Yeah, you know that I need to say this. Yes, Mel did have a cable connecting Portugal to the US and Portugal to Brazil. So yeah, those are not the first cables, but it's very important. These new cables coming in. Okay, and just to say that if I was there, I would give a hug to Emmanuel just because of his intervention. I really believe in what Emmanuel said, and I'm happy that he was the one to say it and not me once again, which is we have the conditions to do it. So this is the time. And just to finalize, looking into this northwestern and southwestern route, we as MEL are trying to make the most out of it. And we are looking into this investments and just approved one of the investments that will connect us to North Europe and probably to Paris as well. But not only that, we are looking into this connectivity on transatlantic side, not only on what Google is doing, but what is coming. And what is coming is huge.
Yes, big time. Thank you. Famous last words. Rui.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted also to hug Emmanuel. I think it makes...
Oh, this is huggy style here. Fight with each other. That's more like...
No, I think it makes a lot of sense.
The Portuguese ambassador working in Italy.
Yes,
it's...
it makes a lot of sense. And I think it can be done by submarine cables, but it can also be done with, and should be done with terrestrial networks. So it stresses out
the combination.
The
each other.
We need each other. Yeah, we have to stress that out. And I would like just to finish by stressing what I said. It's a single ecosystem. And with this huge growth we are facing, we have to align investments. We have to collaborate more and more. And I think the example of what we are doing with Portugal Data Center Association is a good example. So I would like to close by proposing to change the name of the association from Portugal Data Center to Portugal Digital Infrastructure Association.
Oh, and with those famous last words, Emmanuel, anything?
No, the only thing I'm saying is we are absolutely just in the vision I was explaining. I was just saying that we are absolutely complementary. So without one of us, without one of each of us, we are not able to deliver this vision. So I am really trusting in it, but I'm really trusting that none of us alone are able to deliver it. So it's a complementary things we are doing, and we are already working on it. So guys, next year we will deliver. We will show that we delivered something.
Let's move, right? Okay, and with those, thank you so much, for my panelists. Thank you, Nadia, Sam, thank you for your questions. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We're back here in 10 minutes and with George and with Sam and some other people. So we'll keep on talking. Thank you so much, my panelists. Thank you so much for having this an exciting session. And thank you.